I always knew something wasn't right.
It wasn't that she had changed overnight.
No,
It was more subtle than that.
the little things.
The way she'd started coming home late more often. The way she'd get quiet when I asked her about her day.
The way she stopped calling me babe and started calling me by my name again. You know, the way couples do when they've forgotten how to be a couple. But there was always an excuse. A work thing, a friend's birthday, or most often a wedding planning meeting.
I had heard it too many times. The phrase had become like a strange mantra in our house, something that I wasn't allowed to question.
Wedding planning meeting.
That's what she'd say every time I asked her where she was going, her eyes dodging mine, her voice too quick to be casual. I never pressed her, though.
I trusted her.
Or at least, I told myself I did. And I wanted to believe she was just busy, doing something meaningful. After all, we'd been through a lot together.
We had history. We had shared dreams. I thought we had love.
But when she started using the phrase every week, something inside me snapped.
I couldn't ignore it any longer.
This wasn't some vague sense of suspicion, it was a cold, sharp instinct, a feeling that crawled under my skin, whispered in my ear, and nodded my mind.
So I followed her. The day it happened was a Wednesday.
A dull, overcast sky draped the city in a muted, gray silence. I could hear the tap of her heels echoing in the hallway, that same rhythm of an everyday departure. But today felt different. She had said she was going to another wedding planning meeting, but there was something about the way she said it that made my stomach twist. I watched her leave, her car pulling out of the driveway like any other day, but I didn't follow right away.
No. I waited.
I waited until I was sure she'd be far enough ahead. I needed a plan, a way to keep my distance but still get close enough to see where she was going.
I didn't even think to grab my keys.
I just walked out the door in my sneakers and a hoodie. I'd follow her on foot, down the street, around corners.
If she caught me, so be it. But I had to know.
It wasn't hard to keep track of her car. She drove a white sedan, always the same spot in the parking lot at the end of the block. I kept my distance as I watched her pull into a place I hadn't seen before, a little chapel on the corner of an unfamiliar street. The building was small, unassuming, like something you'd miss if you weren't looking for it. I had no idea why she would be here.
This wasn't a meeting. This wasn't a casual thing. This was something else.
I stepped closer, staying hidden behind the fence across the street, my heart pounding, my breath shallow. The chapel doors opened, and I saw her walk in.
My stomach sank. And then, the door opened again. And he walked out. I knew him instantly.
His face, his hair, his smile.
He hadn't changed a bit. He hadn't even aged. It was him. Her ex.
The one I'd always heard about in those late-night conversations, the one whose name she'd brushed off with a smile too tight to be real.
I froze. I couldn't breathe. My hands felt like ice.
He reached out, took her hand, and she smiled back at him in a way I had never seen her smile at me. Her face softened, her shoulders relaxed, like she had just stepped into a memory she didn't want to leave.
My blood boiled.
I couldn't stop the surge of rage that exploded through my veins.
It wasn't just jealousy. It was betrayal. It was humiliation.
I walked across the street, my steps slow and deliberate, but my heart hammering against my chest like I was walking into a war zone.
Is this what you call a wedding planning meeting?
I said, my voice low but firm. They turned to face me, and I saw the shock in her eyes, the panic that flashed for just a second before she wiped it away.
But I wasn't done.
They don't call it a wedding, I said, taking another step closer, now standing between them, feeling the heat of the confrontation burn through the cold air.
They call it a cheat and up.
The words hit harder than I expected, and I saw the way her face crumpled, like she was holding back the dam that was about to break. She started, her voice breaking, but I didn't let her finish.
You think I didn't know? You think I didn't feel the distance growing between us? All those meetings, those late nights, you thought I wouldn't catch on, didn't you? I was shouting now. It didn't matter. My anger was too raw, too deep. What's this, huh? Are you planning your real future with him? Is that why you've been so distant? Were you already in love with him when you married me?
Her face flushed, her lips trembling as if she wanted to apologize, but the words wouldn't come out.
You don't have to say anything. You're already saying it, I spat. I get it.
I turned to the man standing next to her, the man who had ruined everything. My chest was tight with fury as I looked at him. You, I said, taking a step toward him, you're not welcome here. His eyes narrowed, and I could see the muscles in his jaw tense. But then I saw something else, something soft, almost pitying. Like he knew the truth, but he didn't have the strength to admit it.
I didn't care.
I was beyond caring. I took a step back, my fists clenched at my sides.
I was never going to be enough for her, was I?
I muttered, my voice breaking. I was just a placeholder. The air was thick with silence.
I wanted to scream. I wanted to break something. But all I could do was stand there, staring at them. Finally, I turned away.
The decision was made. Goodbye, I whispered, almost to myself.
But I knew they heard it. I walked away from them. From her. From everything I had ever thought I knew.
The streets felt different now, like I was walking in someone else's life.
But I felt a spark of something too. Something I hadn't felt in years. I felt alive. I felt free. And as I walked away from the chapel and the people who had once been my life, I realized something. It wasn't just about the betrayal. It wasn't about her or him or any of the lies. It was about me.
And finally, for the first time in a long time, I was choosing myself.
I had walked away. And I wasn't looking back.